I just got back from Leeds Fest this weekend. Now,
Yeah.
obviously, everyone wears football tops there. Can you guess what the football top I saw the most was?
Is it something from PSG?
It is not.
It's not.
That's what I would have expected.
Leeds?
Closer. I'll give you the club. It's Newcastle, but who do you think was on the back?
John Joe Shelby.
Joe Linton.
Joe Linton?
I saw 30,000 Joe Linton shirts.
I was going to say either John Joe Shelby, Alan St. Maximin, or Alan Shearer. Any of them three.
Joe Linton.
Joe Linton. Wow, what a go. Shout out Joe Linton. So, anyway, welcome back to Three at the Back, episode 2. No Brandon this week. Where is this man?
He's busy celebrating the demise of Scott Parker.
But he's gutted not to be on this week, is he?
We should start with that. Why have Bournemouth sacked Scott Parker?
That is, yeah. So for context, we're currently watching Palace versus Brentford. But above anything, I think the biggest news from this week is Scott Parker's been sacked. So they've played 4 games. They beat Gerrard's Villa 2-0, albeit not a massive achievement, but
A win's a win.
a win is a win. They lost to Arsenal 3-0. They lost to Man City 4-0, and they lost to Liverpool 9-0. Now, if we look at where those teams are in the table, they're all top 6 teams. Well, this is common knowledge. They're all top 6 teams.
I don't think Bournemouth were expecting to beat any of them at all going into the season. So why, when they have lost, as you would expect, they've sacked Scott Parker? I don't have a clue.
I don't know who the replacement will be as well. I've seen Sean Dyche.
Bring back Sean Dyche, Paul.
Bring back Sean Dyche.
I said it in the last episode, but it got edited out because it was unnecessary. But I went on a bit of a rant about how I miss Sean Dyche and bring back Burnley. So I'm glad it'll make it in this week.
Burnley. Bring back the Clarets. But no, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, he got them back into the Premier League.
Yeah, and I saw stuff on Twitter this morning about the amount of money they made from getting back into the Premier League and then how little of that they put back into the transfers. Maybe it's not on Scott Parker.
24 million, I believe it was.
Of 150 million, I believe, you get for promotion.
And some decent signings too. They got Senesi at centre-back. They got Neto on a free.
I think it was unnecessary, totally unfair, and I can't see any manager they bring in doing a better job than he would have done. It's Bournemouth at the end of the day. They were never going to be challenging for the top 6. So as long as they didn't get relegated, whatever he did would have been a good job. They're not in the bottom 3, are they? I don't think I'm mistaken. I don't think they are in the bottom 3.
No, they're not.
Either way, sacking a manager after 4 games is absurd.
Leicester, Wolves, Everton.
Leicester, Wolves, Everton in the bottom 3, and you sack your manager. I don't get it.
I don't either, but
Shall we talk about the 9-0?
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Liverpool are back against, again, a club that they were going to beat anyway.
But I think in 9-0 is an extraordinary fashion. I mean, it's equaling the highest record of a win. Where you got Southampton getting demolished twice by Leicester and Man United, and then Man United back in the 90s. I mean, where did we start with Liverpool?
They were good. They just tore them apart, didn't they?
Yeah.
Alexander-Arnold's goal was brilliant, and obviously he did a decent job defensively because they kept a clean sheet.
I mean, compared to Rashford the week before, he didn't really have much of a challenge on his hands this week, playing against the likes of Dominic Solanke or Kiefer Moore. But, I mean, still nonetheless, it's definitely a bounce back, and I imagine the chemistry and the mood in the Liverpool camp must be like through the roof, like basically back to normal again, because they've got their mojo back more or less.
Yeah, they're going to be using that momentum for the next
couple of games. Yeah.
And also, I want to single out Harvey Elliott's goal. That was another absolutely lovely strike.
I don't like that kid at all, but I've got to admit it is a good goal. Salah. Yeah, let's talk about this man.
I think people are acting like he had a bad game, but he didn't. He didn't have a bad game.
I don't know,
he just didn't score 3 or 4 like people want him to every game.
But the thing is, the chances he had, he could have had a hat-trick.
He could have. And sometimes it just doesn't work out. I wouldn't be turning around and going, oh, that's it, he's had the worst game of his life.
No.
He just didn't stand out as much as some of the others.
Yeah, I read some of the background stats as well, and I think he either had the highest or the second highest XG on the pitch, and didn't get a single goal involvement, which is pretty mental. It's strange to see 9 goals and not even Salah, of all people, being involved. I think everybody's in agreement with that, but the entire team as well must be so, they've got that feeling back where the last few games they were maybe worried or quite nervous for what was to come. But now, after such a huge win like that, I think that, like you say, I think the momentum's going to carry on for the next few games. Yeah,
I said to Brandon when he was panicking. I say, you're 3 games in, you're going to find your momentum, calm down, and lo and behold, they went and did exactly that.
The Messiah, the prophet, Callum.
So there's one other person's opinion we need on the Liverpool game. Brandon, wherever you are, do you want to give us your thoughts?
Yo, it's me, Carlos, for a little message about after a 9-0. Where do I start? I'm happy to see Bobby on the score sheet and a few assists as well. I see Diaz doing well, and also Carvalho on the score sheet finally. Salah, not too much. I'm sure the guys have already spoken about something already, but very good to see. I'm not set on it though. 9-0, it's Bournemouth at the end of the day. We'll see how we go against Newcastle this week. They still got a few shots on target, so I guess we'll see. But see you next time.
Should we talk about Chelsea?
Yeah, let's talk Chelsea.
I haven't seen Conor Gallagher's red card.
It was 2 yellows. I'm not going to disagree with both of them, to be fair. The second one was so blatantly obvious, and it was Harvey Barnes breaking away on a counter-attack after a corner, but between Harvey Barnes and Mendy, the goalkeeper, obviously, there was about 2 or 3 men. No need to dive in where he did and take a yellow.
So just another stupid thing like Koulibaly in the week before.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think tensions are high in a sense that, we can't disappoint. We need to put everything in. We were losing 50-50s and we weren't very physical against Leeds. Let's change that. And it's gone from one end to the other. And now we're making silly challenges and we're down to 10 men within the first 30 minutes.
You did get the win though.
Yeah, and I've been thinking about this all week. It's strange because we won with 10 men with no Thomas Tuchel as well.
Yes, yeah.
Touchline ban. And it's almost like, I feel like the squad felt like the tensions were high for some reason because the coach wasn't there, like on the touchline giving them instructions. But why is that not the case for every single game? Why can you not play to that standard for every single game?
You would hope it's a similar situation to Liverpool. They've just got their momentum now and hopefully they can carry that in and hopefully they can stop making these stupid fouls because you can only have so many people that start in your starting team red carded.
Yeah, this is true. I think some of the standout performances from against Leicester at home were definitely Sterling, obviously with 2 goals. The first one where, he takes that curved shot and I think it takes a slight deflection and gets some height on it and dips the goalkeeper. And then the second goal was some absolutely gorgeous football. Starting all the way from our own half, passing it all the way through. The way the team is meant to be set up with overlapping wing backs. You can see, I think it's Ruben Loftus-Cheek gets the ball just on the right-hand side of the edge of the box. And he lays this nice through ball for James to run to. And he hits it first time. The curve on it as well to get it round the defence, but not too wide to where the keeper can get it. And it's just an easy tap in for Sterling. And it's one of them goals where it doesn't seem that great because it's just a tap in.
But it's the build-up to it.
It's the build-up to it.
And it's nice to see that Sterling has kind of now got a kind of foot in the team and making contributions because I think he was a little bit absent for the first 3 weeks. Every time I saw him, he didn't seem to be doing anything other than just running forward.
Yeah, I agree. With pre-season as well, I noticed what was different between him and wingers we already have is the amount of take-ons he'd attempt and, complete. But just attempt in general, it's nice to see a player that's brave and isn't worried about what the outcome's going to be.
It's what used to frustrate me about Rashford. When he first started playing, he had no fears at all on taking a person on. He would always go for it. And in the last couple of seasons, it felt like his best option was to go backwards always. And I was also, really hoping that he would just commit and try and take people on again. I feel like I've started to see that again recently, which is nice. And then we'll obviously talk about Manchester United last in the roundup of our teams. A 1-0 win against Southampton. I couldn't watch it because I didn't have any signal at Leeds Fest, but I've seen the goal. and a nice controlled volley, a nice pass from Dallo.
Who was it that scored?
Bruno Fernandes.
Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And apparently Scott McTominay played basketball 3 times, but
Yeah,
I haven't
don't
watched the highlights of it yet.
I don't really. How's he got away with that then? It hits his hand on 3 separate occasions. Did it not go to VAR? Or VAR, sorry.
Again, unfortunately, without the signal.
Oh, you don't
I
know.
don't know. I managed to find out the Manchester United Southampton score about midday on Sunday because I got signal and text my dad. So yeah, as I said, the goal from Bruno Fernandes was a lovely controlled volley. And on about lovely controlled volleys, Alan St. Maximin's goal. Absolutely gorgeous.
In the 90th minute too to equalise the game, that's bliss.
It's especially heartbreaking for Wolves, though, who have had such a poor start to the season and would have really liked those 3 points.
Next, we're going to go over Forest 0, Spurs 2. 2 goals from Harry Kane, very close to a hat-trick, but Dean Henderson with yet another penalty save.
He's good at it.
He is good.
He's good.
I think when I was watching that, he was putting the ball down and I thought, I've got a feeling Henderson might save this. And I'm not just saying that, I promise, alright? I did genuinely think that he was going to save it, and he did.
I feel like that most times, though, when Henderson faces a penalty, along with Tim Krul and Kepa.
Yeah, Kepa's low-key got
I have that
really
feeling
good
when
record
they
of
step up
penalties.
to take penalties against those keepers.
But I as well, in the build-up to it, the commentator read out a stat something like, out of 21 penalties, like his last 21, Kane scored all 21, and I think
commentator's curse, isn't it?
It's commentator's curse. In my opinion, anyway, I think it was quite 50-50. I think Forest definitely turned up and gave them a battle. They didn't roll over and just let Spurs dominate.
Well, given their start to the season, Spurs can't have been expecting the easiest game, but they would also go into it expecting they would win it.
No, that's true. Yeah. Let's talk about Richarlison. He's been getting a lot of stick lately from pundits, the media, a lot of fans from his juggling antics. If you didn't watch, then he juggles the ball on the sideline. Midway through the juggle, he passes it back. I think Brennan Johnson intercepts it, and because it's like a heavy touch off him, it's a 50-50. Brennan Johnson comes in and absolutely annihilates him, puts him on the floor, straight yellow card.
He's just always the sort of striker Richarlison's been. He's cocky, he's confident, and he likes to wind players up, so it's nothing out of the ordinary for him.
No, it's standard Richarlison behaviour, to be honest. I think it's some of that Brazilian flair that comes into it, trying
it's
to...
obviously complete with the tweet on Twitter after, just to make sure it's definitely
I
Richarlison.
thought, I was like, give it 48 hours and let's see what he says. And within 12, I think he replied to a tweet or something. But
and Neil Warnock replied to that tweet,
did he?
doing his own kickoffs. Yeah. Big up Neil Warnock on Twitter.
Neil.
That can stay in. Erling Haaland. Why didn't I captain you on FPL?
Why don't I
sorry.
have him in FPL?
What?
Yes. I've overthought FPL this year. As you know, I put a lot of time and investment into it. I like being good at FPL, okay?
Who doesn't when there's money on the line?
And
our league's worth £50 to the winner.
Quid, 10 people, £5 each. Yeah, 50 quid. And I looked at the transfers. I was like, Southampton game week 1 against Spurs. Kane's going to bag.
I did the same. I put Kane in.
Haaland, Man City against West Ham, away, could be a tough fixture. I think Kane's probably got a better chance of getting a return. Spurs getting 4 goals, like I thought they would. Kane's got nothing to say about it. Whereas Mr. Haaland, over in London, bags 2. So I was like, right, okay, well...
It's just the FPL case. Whoever you put in
will do
won't
good
play as
next
good as the
week.
person you were going to put in. 2-0 down to Palace and making the recovery. It's just what we've come to expect from Manchester City, to be honest. But another good showing from Palace, who have had a good start to the season.
Yeah, we're watching them now, and some of the football Vieira's got them playing, and the talent that he's got in his team, I'm so jealous of, because
they're probably going to concede now. You've said that.
No, we're good. Some of the players Vieira's got in that squad are just so fun to watch. Michael Elise has been frozen out the last few games, but there's something about him. I think he's so electric.
I remember watching him in the Cup against
Reading.
Reading.
That goal that he's got. I don't think it was Reading.
He got 2. I feel like he got 2 in whatever game I'm on about, and he was just because he got brought on as a substitution.
Yeah,
and he changed the game.
One goal he cut inside and curved one into the opposite corner. And
he's just exciting. And he's really a Palace player, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
he's quick and he's skillful,
that.
and he's an attacker. It's just what Palace have.
Wilf Zaha, I mean, he's 31 and he's been their talisman for years now. And I genuinely think there's a good chance of him leaving within the next year or so.
I think he's too far gone at this point. I think he's just going to stay at Palace.
I think, but when you put in the fact that he's always been linked with a big move away, he's still in his prime. I think if he was ever going to get a move to a top 6 club, it would be now.
We'll quickly mention Villa. They lost again. Steven Gerrard is definitely going to be the next manager to be sacked. I can't believe Scott Parker went before him. Scott, I'm so sorry. It should have been Gerrard.
Don't deserve this, mate. I don't know how much longer he's got in him. Do you think he'd go...
1 or 2 games.
Really? I was going to say, do you think he'd go
Have you
before...
seen their next 2 fixtures?
Oh, it's Arsenal and City.
Arsenal and City, and I believe I saw on Twitter that if he loses those 2 games, he's statistically Aston Villa's worst manager ever.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely gone, man. Last game we're going to cover is Arsenal-Fulham. Arsenal picking up a 2-1 comeback win at home.
So once again, I messaged my dad for the result on the Arsenal game while I was at Leeds Fest, and he just sent me 2-1 win. Gabriel has scored. And I was like, oh, I must be in some points then, because I've got Gabriel Jesus captained. Completely forgetting there are 3 men named Gabriel in that team.
Triple G.
Yeah, I got home, found I had 2 points, and was quite sad.
Obviously, Arsenal coming back. Odegaard with another goal.
We mentioned this last week, and I believe Brandon told me to keep calm about Odegaard, but 2 goals and now another one. I think he's hit a nice run of form.
The thing is, you got to look at the teams he's scoring against. I don't want to take it away from him at all, but
this is something we said. It's going to be a nice test to see once they start playing, top 6 teams, if they can keep up this, wonderful form they've had at the start of the season. And just watching how they're playing against the lower teams, I actually feeling like they have a good chance to.
I think the first big test comes on Sunday when they play Man United.
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to the game because I can watch it.
Oh yeah, you will. You will be able to. One last thing before we go. Big thank you to everybody that went through the links that we posted. If you're here for football or if you're here just to listen to us, thanks.
Well, and with that was the second episode of 3 at the Back. It's getting dark, so we're going to enjoy the rest of the midweek football, and we'll see you next time. Elise's causing all sorts of problems.